Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yugioh Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh video. Have not done a video in a while. I believe this is actually my first video of the new year 2020, so I do apologize for that, but January I usually take a break from things. Normally YouTube does not pay creators at all. Well, in January, they give you literally pennies for making videos. So I usually take a little bit of a break early on in the new year. That's pretty consistent with how I've done YouTube. So nothing really has been going on. Just been, relaxing and hanging out and working on future videos that will be coming out at some point. So just a quick update there as to where I have been. But we got a really cool thing going on that I want to discuss with you all today, and that is the chance to vote, the chance to pick what set, what archetype is going to be printed in Collection Pack 2020. I'm not sure if Konami has ever done this before, but they are giving us, the fans, the duelists, the power to pick which cards we will be able to actually use and play with going forward in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And all of those cards that are being voted on are based on two different characters from each era. So you have two characters from the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Era all the way through Yu-Gi-Oh! Reigns, and whatever characters archetype wins, they are going to be printed in Collection Pack 2020. Only first place will win. And what I'm going to do, you have until, well, the interim results will be on the 14th, and the final results will be on the 17th. I will also link down below where you can vote in the description if you want to check it out and vote for yourself. And I'm going to go down every single character and just do a very quick breakdown and give a percentage chance, an honest percentage chance that I think that character has to win, and ultimately I am going to let you know what theme I will be voting for, and what theme, if I had $100, what theme I would be betting on to win. And I feel I'm pretty torn. I feel there's really only about 2 or 3 of these 12 characters that actually have a genuine chance to win, and I will be going over that at the very end. So here are the themes of the choices, the 12 choices. I'm just going to quickly go down every single one, and then I'm going to start at the top and break it down. We have Jean-Claude Magnum's Ninja cards, Tenma Yako's The Wicked related cards, Alice's Doll Parts cards, Jim Crocodile Cook's Fossil cards, the Crimson Devil's Servant Abyss cards, Sid's Wheel cards, Jim Fortuna's Shaman cards, Takashi Todoroki's Debugger cards, Sergei Volkov's Thorn Prisoner cards, Syuzu Hiragi or Skip Boyle's Gutmaster cards, and Spectre's Sun Avalon cards, as well as Blood Shepherd's Drone cards. So one of these 12 up until this point anime exclusive archetypes is going to be printed in the OCG and most likely the TCG at some point in the future as well, which is really, really awesome. I love the idea of this, of giving us the power to vote. So we're going to start with Jean-Claude Magnum's Ninja cards. I would give Jean-Claude Magnum about a 10% chance of winning. It's going to be higher than some other picks on this list, mainly because he is a pretty strong meme character. I feel like no one ever talks about Jean-Claude Magnum in a legitimate way. At the same time, I don't think, even with the DM nostalgia that is very prevalent and powerful in the Yu-Gi-Oh community, I don't think there's going to be enough people voting for him that's going to give him a genuine chance of winning. I feel similarly about most of the characters on this list. Tenma Yako, I honestly didn't even remember who Tenma Yako was, and then I remembered, that's right, he was the main villain of the Yu-Gi-Oh! R manga. So if you never read Yu-Gi-Oh! R, you have no idea who this is. He is the protege and adopted son of Pegasus, and Yu-Gi-Oh! R is a spin-off manga of, obviously, the original Yu-Gi-Oh! And I read Yu-Gi-Oh! R so long ago that I don't remember much of it. I really do need to reread it, if I'm going to be completely honest. Yako Tenma, I give him a 5% chance. I think there's some people that are going to be really hyped he's on this list, but I think a majority of people, including myself, are going to be like, who is this guy again? Alice's Doll Parts cards. I did a video talking about some of the creepiest one-off characters in Yu-Gi-Oh! I think I did that for Halloween about a year and a half ago, and Alice was up on that list pretty highly. Her doll parts are very creepy. I give her about a 15% chance. Again, I don't think she's going to garner many votes. Jim Crocodile Cook's Fossil cards. So this is the first one that I think is one of three legitimate contenders. I think there's three characters, there's three archetypes that can definitely win. This is the first one that is a legitimate contender. Jim Crocodile Cook and his fossil cards, Fossil Fusion, and just all of the Archetype, one of the coolest anime-exclusive archetypes that I think a lot of people know about. Even if you have not watched Yu-Gi-Oh! In the last 10 years, you probably remember Jim Crocodile Cook's fossil cards, and it's probably one of those archetypes that a lot of people feel, oh man, I wish it was printed. Why was it never printed? Well, I believe these cards have a very good chance of winning this vote. Jim Crocodile Cook, one of the most prominent characters on this list. You know, you're comparing him to Tenma Yako, Jean-Claude Magnum, and Alice so far. Alice was a one-off character, so was Jean-Claude Magnum. Jim Crocodile Cook played a major role in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. He's a very beloved and appreciated character. In my opinion, a very underrated character. Watch for Jim Crocodile Cook's fossil cards to win, or at least maybe be in the top 3. I would give him probably like a 50% chance. I think it's 50-50 that Jim wins versus anyone else. The next character on the list, now we're getting into 5D's territory, is the Crimson Devil's Servants Abyss cards. It was an awesome duel. I don't think, I'd give it maybe a 20%. It was a really great duel, the Crimson Devil's Servant versus Jack Atlas, but if you've only seen the English dub, this is a duel, and this is a character that you've never even seen, because I'm 95% sure this was a duel that was actually in that 10-episode gap in the middle of 5D's Season 4 that the English dub just did not dub. So, even though it was a great duel, I would give it like a 20% chance. I don't really see it being a legitimate contender. And then Sid's Wheel cards, very early on after I want to say the Dark Signers arc ended, a character named Sid dueled Jack. I don't think Sid is going to win this. It's a character that I didn't really remember all that much. I actually had to look him up, and yeah, I'd give it maybe like a 15-10% chance. We go into Zexal, and Zexal has two characters that I don't think, much like 5Ds, and much like, honestly, the original Yu-Gi-Oh!, are going to have much of a shot at competing for the top spot. Jin Fortuna's Shaman cards. I believe Fortuna was a character that dueled very early on in Zexal. I want to say episode 17 and 18. He was that fortune teller that kidnapped Kotari. I don't see him winning. I would give it maybe a 10% chance. And next up on the list is a character that is a little more well-known, Takashi Todoroki, otherwise known as Caswell in the dub, and his Debugger cards. Just based off of, again, character popularity alone, which I think does play a role in this, I don't see Caswell winning. Caswell, I was not a huge fan of. I wasn't a big fan of the Numbers Club when it came to Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. And even the people that love Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, and don't get me wrong, I like Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. It's one of my favorite shows out of all 6 Yu-Gi-Ohs. I don't hear many people saying, yeah, you know, Caswell Francis and his archetype were incredible to watch. They danced on screen. I don't know why they have not been printed, why those cards have not been printed. It's not going to happen. I give Caswell maybe a 10% chance. The next contender, and this might surprise a lot of you, but I actually feel like this character is going to be a top 5 at least, and maybe a surprise under-the-radar character to win, is Sergei Volkov and his Thorn Prisoner cards. I think that his cards were so creepy, and he was such a creepy character, and it's very easy to remember who he is. And it's very easy to remember that archetype, and I think there's a lot of people that would like to see that archetype printed. I remember when I was reviewing Arc 5, when I started reviewing Arc 5, there were a lot of people that would comment on my videos, and whenever I talk about anime-exclusive decks, Sergei's comes up quite a bit, and so that might surprise the average viewer, but I'm going to give Sergei like a 25-30% chance. It's higher than most people on this list. He's probably an outside dog, an underdog to win this voting, but Sergei is one of the 3 characters that I think does have a legitimate chance to win. The other character in Arc 5 is Skip Boyle, Yuzu Haragi's father. I could name 35, 40 characters off the top of my head in Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 that I liked more than Shuzo Haragi, and again, it's nothing against him, but he's just not a character that comes to my head when I think of all the really fun characters that Arc 5 had, so I give Shuzo Haragi maybe a 5-10% chance of winning. Now, another character that I think has as good of a chance as Jim Crocodile Cook to win, I would give him 50%, is Spectre. Spectre is the first character in Vrains. I think his Sun Avalon archetype is a very unique archetype, and as Vrains was going on, this was an archetype that so many people wanted to see printed, and I think it's going to come down to Spectre and Jim Crocodile Cook. I think those are the two front runners. I'm going to make a pick at the end of this video, but I think Spectre and Cook are going to be the two that are going to be top choices for many people that have to vote. And then finally, you have Blood Shepherd's drone cards. I don't see Blood Shepherd winning. As much as Vrains is fresh, Vrains is new, which I also think gives Spectre a little bit of an advantage. I know a lot of people did not like Blood Shepherd's dueling style, and drones, they just seemed a little, I mean, they didn't really dance on screen like Spectre's Sun Avalons did, and a lot of these cards did, like Jim's Fossils, for example. So, Blood Shepherd, I would give him a 15 to 20% chance, but I think the three legitimate contenders are Jim Crocodile Cook, Spectre, and Sergey. Who will I be voting for? I will be voting for Jim Crocodile Cook. I thought long and hard. It was between Jim and Spectre. If I had 2 votes, I would definitely vote for Jim and Spectre, but if I had only 1 vote, it would go to Jim. We've waited so long for fossil cards, and I just think this is one of maybe the last times we will ever have the opportunity to get fossil cards actually printed. It's one of my favorite anime exclusive archetypes, as are Sun Avalon. I mean, I do like Sun Avalon a lot, but Vrains just ended. Even if Sun Avalon gets printed in 2022, 2023, I'd be okay with that. We've been waiting like 15 years for fossils to get printed, and we finally have a chance to make it happen. I'm going to vote fossils. Now, which character do I think is going to win? I think Spectre is going to win. I think Spectre has the deck that probably plays the best in today's format. I think it plays probably a little better than Fossils does, although the Master Rule is changing, so maybe that's kind of an outdated statement. I feel like it played pretty well with Lynx, but also Spectre is more known to recent fans of the show than Jim Crocodile Cook is. If you just got into Yu-Gi-Oh! 5 years ago, you probably know about Sun Avalons, even if you haven't watched the anime. I think that the people that are going to vote for fossil cards are people that were around when GX aired, or went back and watched Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and that means you've had to be in the community playing the card game competitively for about 15 years now. I just think Spectre is going to get a little more votes than Jim Crocodile Cook. Spectre is my prediction as to who will win this voting. Jim Crocodile Cook is who I would go with, and I think no matter how the voting plays out, I would be very surprised if Jim and Spectre are not 1 and 2, and maybe Sergey is 3. But then again, I'm not really that in tune with the Japanese fandom, even with the TCG, OCG fandom, really at all. So maybe the results will surprise me, but that's just what I believe going into it. Those are my top contenders, and yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun to keep an eye on. And again, the 14th is when we will see the first results of voting. And also, if you want to vote, I'm seeing at the bottom of this article, you need to be logged in with your Konami ID and have the website set to Japanese, so that might be a little tricky. But anyway, guys, some fun news. Hopefully you enjoyed my breakdown of all of these characters that you can vote for, and definitely, if you can navigate the website, make sure to vote. Get over to that page and make your voice heard. A special thank you to my Platinum tier patrons Alexa Baker, Glen McGookin, Jorge Carrillo, Horace Maye, Goosey Q, Vincent Van Der Veen, Panther J, Smith620, Jorge Leon, Blue Maiden 28, Jarrett Buller, and Gabe G, and to my Diamond tier patrons Jesse Wood, Latrell Smith, Sean, and Melinda Phantom, and to my Egyptian God tier patrons Joss Rivers and Syn Cloud. Thank you all so much for your support on Patreon, and to everyone who's a channel member. I really do mean this. If it was not for you guys, I would not be able to make content. I love all of you. Happy New Year, everyone. I will talk to you down below, and I hope you have an amazing day.
Studio 45, A Pats, Cali Swag.